I hope that the content that I go through today adds value to your life and adds value to your business. It would be my intention that by the end of my presentation, you would be mentally exhausted. Number one, with some of the new terms and the new techniques that I'm going to show you today. But I also want you to leave feeling empowered and excited that this is something you can do. Because it is something you can do, and it's much easier than it might appear to be. A few years ago, I was in a long-term relationship. Ended badly, horribly. You know what And we were cohabitating. So this conversation came up about what belonged to who. And wasn't too long before I got a service papers, at the radio station where I was working. And I said, bring it on. Let's do this, I was ready to go to court. I was fired up, 2 days later, I get a call from the Judge Judy people. They say, hey, we'd like to air your dirty laundry on national television. I said, do I get paid? They said, yes, you get paid. I said, okay, let's do this. So I went down to Los Angeles. You go into this big warehouse. You think that there's packing, shipping, and receiving type stuff happening over in this warehouse. It's this big empty warehouse. And then there's this big cardboard box in the middle of the room. That's the Judge Judy studio, right? You walk in, this is full courtroom. You're literally in this nothing, and then you go in this is full lit courtroom. Am I on camera okay, Chuck? Okay, you let me know if I go out. And we did the whole presentation. I'll skip to the end. I got my you-know-what handed to me on national television. But I got paid for it. And it was at that time that I saw how quickly production could be set up and executed and to look professional, right? They were literally shooting out of a cardboard box that was set up in the middle of a warehouse. The next day, after it aired about a month later, a couple days later, I had 300 new Facebook friend requests from women and a few men, you know what I'm saying? Many of whom I'm still friends with today. And I thought to myself, video had always been in the background for me. I've had a video camera since I was 8 years old, one of those big brick things that puts the whole VHS. You put the whole VHS in there, right? I had one of those when I was 8 years old. And I saw how many friends I could get on Facebook, and I saw how fast that YouTube video took off, simply because the name Judge Judy was attached to it. Now, of course, Channel 2, CBS, they took it off. It's copyright violation, all these different kinds of things. But that's when I decided that I would make the move, and my career would now be focused on video. And a lot of things kind of happened from there. So what we're going to talk about today are the super tactics involved in making you a rock star superhero on YouTube. And it's very important that we take a look at the strategy and the step-by-step, because we're not reinventing the wheel here. We are doing what other professionals have experimented with, documented, and have executed. People like Daryl Eves, Jeremy Vest, Jake Larson, Tim Schmoyer, who I don't expect you to know, but are the top names in the business, and my personal friends. I was just in Salt Lake City last week meeting with these guys in a mastermind group. And we're going to cover some of those things today so that it's not just the seven-figure businesses that have access to YouTube, but also NSA Carolina. Sound okay? Yeah. Okay. So before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about the superhero, because most superheroes do not think that they are super. In fact, they're afraid of their abilities. Superman could lift a tractor over his head, but he couldn't show that to anybody for fear of being rejected. He was afraid of how to handle that. Wolverine and the X-Men thought of themselves as freaks and went into seclusion and hiding. See, a lot of superheroes, they're unsure how to leverage their superpowers. They're unsure how to take those powers to the community. And I find that with a lot of professionals, we too are hiding our superpowers. No one's ever going to watch my video. I speak on organizational growth, right? That's boring. YouTube is for 16-year-olds, and Charlie bit my finger. You know? Are these conversations you've had to yourself? YouTube is for the kids. Video games and viral videos. Now, my video's never going to go viral. You know? If there's one message I want to communicate today, it's that viral is not your goal. Right? Viral is not a marketing strategy. YouTube is a place for professionals to develop a niche-specific message designed for your audience. We see professionals all over YouTube, some in this room, using YouTube to educate and train their audience to enhance their skill sets. It's not just a place for viral videos, right? We see a couple different things happening on YouTube. First, we see vloggers, right? It's a combination of the word blogging and video, vloggers. A vlogger is somebody who represents themselves as a personality. Think of it as a talk show or a weekly sitcom on YouTube. And they're gaining audience members by the thousands. The smart ones are monetizing. And they're leveraging that to get speaking engagements, to sell products, to get sponsorships, and to get advertisers. You know, $20 billion in advertising revenue from brands went on YouTube last year. Now, I heard a smart guy say, where the attention goes, so goes the ad revenue. And there's a lot of attention on YouTube. We're also seeing brands make their way onto YouTube. If you ask me, the best video of last year was The Scarecrow by Chipotle. Phenomenal video on healthy eating. They leveraged online video to go viral. So we see brands using YouTube. We also see trainers, consultants, and coaches using YouTube to get their message out to their audiences. Our own Jeffrey Gitomer, Steve Dotto of Dotto Tech, who teaches on Evernote productivity and productivity apps such as Google and Gmail. Ben Carson, who is a political voice, potentially running for president, using YouTube to communicate an independent/libertarian message. We also see web designers teaching web design, teaching WordPress, teaching SEO, which is the focus of my channel, which is SEO and web design. So viral is not at all your goal. Because you're right, no one may ever watch your video. But maybe 21,000 will. This is the video that really hit it big on my channel. It's about a year and change old, 21,000 views. This video last year for me generated over $45,000 in sales. Where did those sales come from? Came from people saying, I saw your video on YouTube, what would it cost to have you consult on my website or build my website for me? Right? And I've got annotations. We're going to go into these terms later. I have annotations that link to a contact form. So I know that these leads came from this video. It's called a funnel. See how that works? Okay? But here's the thing, that was not the intention of this video. This video came at a moment of inspiration at 2 o'clock in the morning. My wife and kids are asleep in the other room. I'm building a website, going crazy. And then it hit me. The silo structure, right? It's advanced SEO web design technique that I've been studying. I've been studying under Bruce Clay, learning more about it, but I wasn't getting it. You know what I mean? It's like you kind of get it up here, but it's not in your heart yet. You know what I'm saying? I figured it out. So I pulled up my little handy cam. You see that camera that Chuck's got right back there? My camera cost about 1/10 of that. It's like $100, $200 camera. I put it up on my tripod. I'm in a Walmart shirt that cost me $6. I'm careful not to lift my arms up, you know what I mean? Because I wanted to be somewhat professional. but I'm dirty in this video. From my bedroom at 2 o'clock in the morning. But it's generated for me tons and tons and tons of revenue. And here's what's even better, is I got 3 more videos just like it. Now I also have a whole collection of videos that don't do much. You know, they're getting traffic for me, but they're leading people to these videos, the money vids, right? And we're going to talk about today how to create different types of content so that you're creating a funnel system through YouTube that generates revenue. I think about this. One camera, I did it in one take, no editing. There was no editing done on this video. The cost was $0. So the margin on that is acceptable. It's acceptable. See, what I was able to do was I was able to unlock the power of YouTube. And at the time that I did this, I kind of stumbled upon it, right? There weren't YouTube. Daryl Eves, who's one of the biggest YouTube trainers out there, he wasn't even around at this time, right? You ever heard of the Piano Guys? You just heard of these guys? 2 million subscribers, one of the biggest, highest grossing YouTube channels. Daryl Eves is their marketing guy. That's how good these guys are. But Daryl Eves wasn't producing training at this time. There are 2 things that you want to focus on. Is creating content for your audience. Okay? We are not creating content for the masses. You've heard of this term buyer persona? Customer avatar? Are these terms familiar? Right? That's who you're creating content for. The short answer is who can hire me and what questions are they asking? And that's the content that you're making. So we're creating content for an audience that's looking for it. Okay? They're in trouble. They're a damsel in distress, and you're going to be the superhero that creates that content to save the day. The other thing that we're doing is we're creating relationships. You're actually going to be creating relationships with these people, just like when I was on Judge Judy, and I had girls and guys asking for my number and wanting to know more about me. They felt like they knew me from that show. Owen, you got rocked on that show. And, that girl was so mean to you. That kind of thing. Hey, could we have coffee sometime? I dated one girl. My wife knows about her. They felt like they knew me, right? Scientists call this a parasocial relationship, and it's a thing. We study it in media. My background is in, like media science and media technology, how to use imagery and framing and that sort of thing in television environments. Case in point, I have a bad habit of binge watching TV shows on Netflix. You guys ever done this? Okay, it's a filthy habit, and I love it. So a couple months ago, during the summertime, I was binge watching on 2 shows. The first show was an old show called Cheers. Very, very funny show. I remember I couldn't watch it when I was a kid, so now here I'm in rebellion against my dad. And the second part of that was watching Frasier. I literally watched 9 years of television in about 2 months. And as I'm doing this, as I'm watching this show, I'm getting real interested in who Kelsey Grammer is. He's funny, he's a funny guy, and he's a tall guy, and who's David Hyde Pierce, and all these different characters. And I'm looking them up on Wikipedia, and he's an alcoholic in real life, poor guy, and he lost all of his brothers and sisters tragically through a series of events throughout his whole childhood. He's real, this like broken character. And I feel like I know the guy. I feel like if I were to run into him on the street, I'd be like, Frasier! And he'd be like, it's Kelsey, because I had developed this parasocial relationship to him. One more quick example. I'm from a town called Oceanside, California, which is right above San Diego. There's a football player named Junior Seau who tragically passed away a year ago. And during that time, his service was held at my church. That's how close this guy was to our community. And I remember hearing on the news these people saying, Junior was in my house every Sunday. Man, Junior, we're going to miss Junior. And I see these people talking about an individual they had never personally met as if he was a member of the family. Because they seen him on TV every week. They seen him on the interviews on ESPN afterwards. A good buddy of mine, Jim Lutz, calls it the celebrity effect. And what we're going to do on YouTube is you're going to speak to your audience directly because they can make eye contact with you. And we're going to pull them in through our content. And I don't care if you have the most boring content in the world. If someone's watching it, they're looking for it. They're not bored by it. They want it. And so I'm going to show you how to, make eye contact with the camera and things like this. Okay? And as far as speakers go, I can tell you that it works. And I actually think it works better for speakers, authors, and coaches. I think it's more effective than it is for businesses like the local bakery. The local bakery, I think, has to put in a little bit more effort, and they got to show you, how we make the cupcakes and what goes into it, because otherwise they run the risk of doing buy from us, buy from us, buy from us. That is not how I'm going to show you how to use YouTube today. There is a place for that, where you're making commercials, but that's not the power of YouTube. It's certainly an added benefit of YouTube. But my friend Crystal here, who's a member of the NSA, a little bit north of here, leverages YouTube. She shoots everything that she does and then chops it up. She'll chop an hour keynote into little 5-minute bits, optimizes them for YouTube, and then pushes that out to meeting professionals. It's also optimized for her targeted keywords. So when an event planner is looking for somebody who speaks on marketing topics, which is what she does, she's more likely to appear in the search engines than her competitors are. Because her competitors are somewhere else going, it's too hard. I'm not going to learn it. I don't need it. I'm above that. So I know that it's effective. I've gone into a little bit of my background. In a nutshell, I've created multiple viral videos. I started my career making videos for churches. I don't know how many of you are spiritual people. I was not a spiritual person, and I saw a video in the privacy of my own home that completely changed my life. And I dedicated my life to that belief system. I started making videos that supported what I believed. They've been seen all over the world, and I still make royalties on them to this day. One is called The Sin Collar, and it's very funny. It's the best video I've ever made. There's even been, we run into copyright infringements on YouTube because other people have taken it and made their own versions of it, right?
What's it called?
The Sin Collar, right? It's a way to keep you from sinning. You put a little shock collar on. See, I was building videos and channels for companies that would hire me, and then one day I realized, why am I not treating myself as a client? So about 8 months ago, I started building my own personal channel, and I was able to grow my channel strategically from 0 to 1,200 subscribers in around 6 months. And those subscribers are people that when I produce a video, it's pushed directly in a lot of cases to their email. I've been invited by VidPal. It's the #1 training company for video marketing in the country. They're also one of only 4 consultancies that are YouTube certified. I create their live stream courses for them and teach their client base how to broadcast live using YouTube. I did a lot of collaborations and other stuff like that. But #1 and first and foremost, I think, is I've been able to create a whole career out of YouTube. YouTube is my #1 source of leads for my video production business, Video Spot. #1. Beating out Facebook last year, which was my #1 up until that point. And today, I'm going to show you guys how to become YouTube superheroes. Sound good? Yeah. Okay, the training begins now. How many of you guys are on Twitter? Yes. All right. I want to encourage you to use your laptops today and to use your mobile devices and to tweet nuggets of what you're hearing today. Okay, I'm not one of these people that's like, hey, put your cell phones down. right? Put your laptops away. That's not the environment that we're in anymore. I want to encourage you to be tweeting. Now, if you're texting Domino's, I'm going to have a little bit of a problem with that. And I'll tell by the look on your face. You know? But I want you to use the hashtag SuperTuber. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the hashtag tonight, and whoever has the most tweets, I'm going to offer a special gift. I'm going to do a free channel audit and marketing strategy with you over the phone. This is what I charge my customers $600 for. So I want to encourage you to tweet. You can also follow me on Twitter at Owen Hemsath. I'm just about everywhere. At Owen Hemsath, you can find me using that. So what are we going to cover today? We're going to cover these topics to unlocking your superpower. First of all, what is YouTube and getting familiar with YouTube? How many of you guys are actively on YouTube? Okay, good. That's more than I thought. So maybe we'll speed that part up a little bit. We're going to talk about what a successful channel looks like and the elements that you need to have in place, the people you need to hire if you're not a graphic designer and that sort of thing. And then I'm going to show you how to leverage and how to harness the power of YouTube so that you can come in and save the day. So what we want to start with is looking at the YouTube platform and getting familiar with it in a zoomed out and then a zoomed in view, okay? So let's get started. YouTube is a video hosting platform. It's also a social media platform, and what that means is that you can host your videos on YouTube and other people can comment and engage and interact with those videos. You guys are all on Facebook, you're on Twitter, so we understand how social networks work, correct? Okay, here's the difference between YouTube and these other networks. Number one is it's a specifically video platform, right? Now, Facebook has a video component. Twitter is adding a video component. They have a small component now called Vine. But it's not even in the same ballpark as being able to host a 30-minute, 1-hour video that's optimized for keywords and can be found in Google search engines. Nowhere near that. Okay? The other part of that is that YouTube can be embedded into other social networks, okay? You can't read your Twitter feed on Facebook. You can't read your Facebook feed on Twitter. Well, that's not true for YouTube. You can embed YouTube anywhere that HTML code is allowed. So you can check YouTube on Facebook. You can check YouTube on Twitter. And that allows you a ton of exposure potential. And I'm using that word specifically because I want to get away from the word viral. Viral as a note simply means outside your network, right? It's reached more people than you have in your friends list. So going viral is not a hard thing to do. But usually we think about viral as being like, multi-million views, these types of things, okay? YouTube is owned by Google. It's a Google property. And their social component is owned by Google+. It's one big happy family. And they got some nepotism going on. Let me tell you. Now, Google can't publicly come out and say this, but their videos are prioritized in search, which means that when somebody goes to search on Google, depending on the search query, it's very likely a video will be available for that term. Why shouldn't it be your video? Does that make sense? Okay, so you go to Google and you type in something like, Daryl, what's your platform?
I want to speak with college organizations.
Okay, motivation type of thing?
I want to teach, work with educational organizations that want the students to be successful, set goals, and leave a legacy on campus. Okay,
so we take the term how to set goals and we put it in YouTube. Why should, you'll get like a series of responses that come up, answers to that. Why not a video of yours? How to set goals by Daryl. See, videos will pop up in the search engines. And there's no reason why your videos can't be there. Okay? They need to be properly optimized and uploaded so that Google will will prioritize them. And Google has done studies that show that 95% of the videos that they show on their ranking pages are clicked. They are clicked. It's much more likely a video will be clicked than a blog post or a web page. See, at my company where we do SEO, we have a philosophy. We don't want you to rank on Google. We want you to own the first page of Google. Right? Your videos, your blogs, your Google Plus posts, your web pages, own it by squeezing out your competition. YouTube is the second biggest search engine on the web today. Google being number one. See how that works? And when you search on Google, you're searching on YouTube automatically. However, for people like me, I'm not a millennial. Okay, millennials need a guy like you, Daryl. Millennials are going to YouTube first because they want a video. So we're seeing that more and more and more. So leveraging the search engine. But it's not just a place to upload your videos. Google also has a live broadcasting platform. And I would say that when coaches hire me, most of what we're doing is live broadcasting. Events like this where I've got my camera set up to my laptop and we're live on the web. So imagine the potential now of being live and creating that live relationship with the people that are right here, right now, but having that same relationship with thousands of people at their computers, at home, that I'm calling to action by clicking a link and buying my product. Okay? Here's a secret. All the media in the U.S., radio, cinema, television, is owned by 6 companies. Each company has a CEO. That means that 6 men own all the media in the country. That's a fact. In the world, it's 10. Now, are there subsidiaries? Yeah, of course there's subsidiaries. ESPN is owned by Disney. ABC is owned by Disney. Disney is the top. They're one of the 6. Before YouTube Live, we had Skype and we had Ustream and these other different platforms that were breaking through. But before YouTube Live, if you wanted to broadcast a message to the country, you had to go through those gatekeepers. They were in charge of creating celebrities. They were in charge of which political messages got aired on television. Now, YouTube has given that power to us. That is huge. That is absolutely huge. It's 100% totally free. Okay? Now, if you want it to look good, you might have to invest in some stuff. Okay?
It's called YouTube Live.
YouTube Live. Right. It's YouTube Live. Now, you could go on live right now with Google Hangout. But Google Hangout does not broadcast in HD, and you're not going to get the quality that you want. Okay? I use a camera like Chuck's, and then we use a third-party encoder, right? It costs a couple $100. So there's some costs in getting, if you really want a high quality, you want it to look like a TV show. But presidential elections, the last presidential election was broadcast live on YouTube. That was groundbreaking. That was absolutely groundbreaking. For a guy like me, I don't have cable. We only have, like Netflix and Hulu and that sort of thing. That was huge for us. And you have the ability to put clickable links inside your videos. So imagine the power. Think of a newscaster, right? You got that little bubble above his head. Imagine that being a buy now button or enroll today. Sign up here. Download my ebook now. Where the end user can click it, go to a web page, and sign up. Absolutely groundbreaking technology and very frustrating to the media conglomerates. Very frustrating, right? And they've gone through all sorts of efforts. You've probably heard about some of the lawsuits to try and shut this down. But then you get these really smart companies, like the company that produces The Tonight Show and SNL, and what's the other one? I'm thinking Jimmy Fallon, right? Jimmy Fallon and thank you, right? Thank you. And then Conan, and Conan is big. These guys push their content on YouTube because that's where the viewers are. And guess what's following the viewers? The ad revenue. So if you're getting 1,000 hits a month on your video, that gives you the power to go to a corporation and say, why don't you sponsor my channel? $10,000 for the rest of next year. I'll tell you what, you get it now, you get in early. And I'll allow you to be a broadcaster on my website or an advertiser on my website for the next 5 years. Well, you just financed your channel. And us in the YouTube game, that's where we're focused, is bringing channels and ad revenue together. There's no reason you couldn't be a part of that. So let's take a look at the channel page. And as an example, I've brought in a channel page that I really like. Okay? Now, I consider myself a good-looking guy. I do, and I often refer to myself as a good-looking guy. But this guy is good-looking. Okay? And I've used his channel as an example even before this presentation. So we're going to look at the elements of a good landing page. But I make no joke. This right here, do I have a laser on here? Yeah, well, let's just go into it, okay? This is Jeffrey Gittimer's page, okay? It's a sales page. We're talking about sales skills and professional skills and things like this. Let's take a look at this first thing right here. This is the homepage banner. Now, this banner is brilliant in its composition. Here's why. Because there's 3 different ways that a viewer can access this image right here. Number 1 is on their smart TV, which is rare. Okay? Most common is on their desktop where you see the whole thing. But third is what? Mobile, absolutely. On mobile, only this part shows up, the center. So you see what the Gittimer team has done is design this so that when you're on the desktop, you see the whole thing, but when you're on mobile, you just see this little part right here. It's a great way to make an unresponsive banner responsive, right, to the device that you're watching on. So underneath the banner, you've got your personal links, okay? So you're able to link to your website from here, and you're able to link to your social media channels. Now, depending on how important those things are to you, you may want to have like an arrow on your page saying download my free ebook here and actually drawing attention to them. Because when everybody has the same feature, they kind of become white noise, so you may want to help them to pop out a little bit. Okay? So this is your homepage banner. Now the channel page is rarely viewed, right? It's like your Facebook profile page. Like no one's really going there. Where are they spending their time?
Watching the video updates.
Yeah, newsfeed, right? Or watching the videos on the viewing page, right? Same thing with the channel page. However, when a user subscribes to your channel, this is the first place they're going to go. The second most clicked link on the channel page is the About Us page, right? So that's down here. And you can put links and all these different kinds of things in there. So this is called... those are your tabs there. You've got home, videos, playlist. You can explore the channel in depth from there. Me, when I like a user, I want to go see what a new subscriber, right? Dotto Tech. I think you guys would all like that channel a lot. D-O-T-T-O Tech, one word. I make no money on it. They didn't even know who I am, but it's a great channel. I often go to his channel page, click on videos, and I just see what he's got going on. Okay, and I geek out on some of the stuff. The next is the subscription video. You have 2 options here. Okay? You have an unsubscribed, it's called an unsubscribed trailer and a subscribed trailer. Here's how that works. When somebody who is not subscribed to your channel goes to your channel page, they will see an unsubscribed video that you set up. Otherwise, YouTube's going to just pick your latest video. That video should be what?
A sales video.
Yeah, if they're unsubscribed, get them to subscribe. Hey, welcome to my channel. I'm glad you stopped by. Here's what we talk about on my channel. I broadcast a new video every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We talk about these topics, and if you like this kind of stuff, you're really going to want to stay tuned.
How long should that video be?
We'll talk about some of that, but you want to keep it brief.
So what's your objective with that video?
To get them to subscribe. And guys, I have like, I think an hour for the first part, and I've only got 40 minutes of content, so I do want to do some questions afterwards. So please write them down or tweet them. As soon as they click the subscribe button, they go to your subscribe trailer. Hey, welcome to my channel. I'm glad you subscribed. Here's 4 videos I think you should watch to get started. Right? And because YouTube allows these clickable links inside the video, they can now go to those other videos. And you're keeping them on your channel longer. You guys with me? Okay. Because we got a lot more. I'm just getting started.
Hey, Owen.
Yeah.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Which you might get to later. You said clickable link within the video.
Yep.
That's not the wording beneath it that has a link. Where does a clickable link in a video?
It could be either way. So for example, this logo right here is put in post-production. I can go into the YouTube editor and put a box around that and say, make this clickable. Okay. I could also put text in and say, make that clickable. Okay. So all of that is an option for you. Okay. But you're actually clicking on the video, right? Very, very important because nobody else has that. I say that. There's smaller niche companies. Wistia has an option, but $100 a month. It's not the same thing as YouTube. It's not enhanced for search and those types of things. Now on the side here, you're going to see related channels. Very, very important to have these. And we're going to talk more about how to leverage the related channels, related features a little bit later. So when you scroll down, you have the ability to set up your own playlists. Now, this might look like a matrix, but it's not. They're actually horizontal rows, and they're divided by playlists, where you've got all the recent uploads are right there, number 1. Underneath that are popular uploads. And here's where it gets real cool. Underneath that is a section on attitude. And what do you notice about, well, it's kind of hard to see. You guys see how he's got a branding thing going on here? The red shirt, the background. Most of the videos look like this with the gradient background and the G right there. But then when you get down to attitude, we see a change. Right? So just like how Channel 2, for example, has multiple shows on the channel, your YouTube channel could feature multiple shows. What if you do a 6-week section on attitude? You maybe change up the branding a little bit. And you're showing people your diversity. Now, you don't have to do that. I think it's a wise thing to do. Plus, it makes it exciting, I've got a channel. I talk a lot about video marketing and SEO, and it gets boring. Sometimes, you get bored with it, So I did a 4-week segment on sales techniques for online, how to take somebody from being an online contact to being an in-person prospect. A lot of fun. Had a lot of fun doing that. And it reinvigorated my channel a little bit. So I think it's very wise. What do we notice about these? These are called thumbnails. The image that YouTube decides to display. Okay, and then you also see the title. Those are the 2 most important factors of getting your video clicked. Your thumbnail and your title. I think on this page we could do some work on the thumbnails. But other than that, this is a really well set up channel. And this is all what people see right there on that same page. Obviously, I can't fit the whole web page on a PowerPoint. You got to scroll down. Okay, moving on to the viewing page. This is the page you're all probably most familiar with, right? When you click on a video, this is the page that you see. So going back, we see kind of the branded video. Excuse me. It's like you try to hold it in as long as you can. You know what I mean? This is the player. You have a ton of options here. These options are down here. You can get closed captions. Guess what? Closed captions are great for who? Oh, that's good. I wasn't even thinking about that. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to teach that one next.
What is writing down?
Closed captions. People at work. People at work. The hearing impaired, right? Which is a very small segment of the population. English learners, right? 70% of YouTube's traffic comes from outside of the United States. How many of you guys would like to speak in Australia? The UK, right? China. Well, China, you got the Great Wall, the Great Firewall. So not too much is allowed out there. The eastern areas. But you can also watch it in widescreen. You can also watch it 2 times as fast. So if you're looking for a tutorial on how to change the oil in your car, on my personal channel, my best performing video is how to program the key on your Chevy. I just recorded the guy doing it. I didn't want him to see me, you know what I mean? But it cost me $60. I figured if I could save the rest of the world $60, you know? And the comments are awesome, like, way to stick it to the man, and, you know? I just pulled the camera out of the Chevy dealership, you know? By the way, Morris, I don't have that Chevy anymore. I've moved up. You know what I'm saying? So you got a ton of options there. Play with them, explore them. You might find that you like to watch it in full screen, or they call it like movie mode and these different things, okay? You've also got, down here is like your video information. Now it's hard to see, but over here you've got add to, where you can add it to your own playlist. My most popular or most used playlist is watch later, right? You're surfing at work. That's good, I'm gonna watch that tonight. How many of you guys have like a Roku or an Apple TV or a smart TV? Okay, I like to store the playlist up, put it on my phone, and then beam it to my television. I can watch, I can take notes, that whole thing. I mean, I'm an active geeky YouTuber. I mean, I spend a lot of time on YouTube. You can share, when you click this button, a whole line of social networks pop up. So you can share your videos. And right after you upload a video, the first thing you do is you go to that share button and you share it across all your social networks. I've got Hootlit, that's part of a social media thing that's on my Chrome browser, so you won't have that. You have more options here, we'll go into those. But over here you have a view count. You can see how popular the video is. You also have this thumbs up and thumbs down. When somebody thumbs ups your video, by default, it tweets that video out to their Twitter followers. By default. So, if I were you, I would structure your videos in such a way to encourage people to give you a thumbs up. Here's a quick case study. I was asking people verbally to give me a thumbs up. Hey, if you like what I'm covering today, give me a thumbs up, right? And I'd say, like, go push below. Well, I wasn't getting any thumbs up. And I know, because I can check the stats here, YouTube also has incredible analytics. I mean, think AdWords style analytics. They're fantastic and it's all free. But I wasn't getting anything. And I could go to my Twitter and there's no mentions, right? So then what I do is I add a lower third banner. You guys know what a lower third banner is, right? It's like you're watching the news and it's, breaking news alert, That's a lower third banner. So I added a lower third banner with a thumbs up on it and I said, like if you agree. And then I would put something like, of course, everyone's going to like it, right? All people should be treated fairly. Like if you agree. Of course, it's related to the video. The next video, 15 likes the day it launched. So I learned a good lesson about YouTube marketing that day, right? People are more likely to engage with your like if you ask them, and if you ask them the right way. That doesn't mean your audience will respond that way. What I'm saying is test it, see which one works better. Okay? Your view count is not important. What? Social Bakers just did a study that really ruffled my feathers. Social Bakers, social media company, right? And then all the social media, stars are like, Social Bakers did this study. Facebook is beating YouTube in video views. But what's a view? Right? I think that matters. Right? Imagine a study where somebody says, cars are faster than people. So people are no longer, worth anything. Well, people and cars move very differently. Okay? So what is a view? You ever scroll through your Facebook newsfeed and like you see a video and you just kind of keep going? Doesn't matter. It went through your feed. It's a view.
Oh, you're kidding.
No. That's a big deal. That's a very big deal.
You just broke a lot of people's hearts. Yes.
I'm sorry. The truth hurts.
Say it again.
Okay, so if you're scrolling through your newsfeed, it's called autoplay. If you're scrolling through your newsfeed and you see a video playing and you scroll right past it, Facebook counts it as a view because it hit your newsfeed playing.
But if autoplay is turned off.
You have to click, it doesn't count as a view. Okay. Correct. YouTube has a much more stringent view count because we're attracting ad revenue and we have to prove to our advertisers that people are actually watching. We also have to prove that people are engaging. So the engagement metric, thumbs up, thumbs down, guess what? They're both equally valued. Okay? They'll both rank your video. And comments, which I'll show you in just one second. For YouTube, a general principle is this. It must be a user-initiated view. So the user has to click something like play. Case in point, on my landing pages, right, for my opt-ins and my courses and things like this, it's always autoplay. I could care less what the view count is. And it's always like 4. But how could it be 4 when I have like 30 new opt-ins? Right? Okay, so YouTube is much more stringent on the view count. Now, why don't your views matter? From a larger perspective, I mean, your views do. Your views are your gateway to likes, comments, engagement, that sort of thing. But what if somebody only watches 8 seconds of your video? What if they only watch 10 minutes out of a 20-minute video? Right? What's better, watching 10 minutes of a 20-minute video or watching 2 minutes of an 8-minute video? Do you guys see what I'm getting at? And one video, you watched half of it. The other, you only watched a percentage of it, but because it was shorter, you might have gotten more of the content out of it. So the view rate is we don't, in YouTube marketing, we don't go to our views and say, how many views do I get? I want to look at how many sales I got. Remember, you're not producing viral videos. You're producing videos for your audience, right? So if you're doing organizational management, I think, Linda, is what you said, I overheard you saying you were doing, your audience is going to be smaller, right, than the Charlie bit my finger audience. So don't let views get you down. If only 115 people see your video, but you got 15 opt-ins and 3 sales off it, you done well. Okay? So don't be distracted by the view count. Now over here, most important part of the page, even more important than the main video, is the related videos. Thumbnail and title. Thumbnail and title. Now, what do you notice about the main video and all these videos?
Background.
His name is first.
It's all Gittimer. Absolutely. He's doing it right. He's not just branding. He set up his metadata, the data that only, the back-enders can see, so that his videos are all related to each other. Right? So we'll go to some channels and we'll see, this main video and then a whole bunch of random other videos here.
Yes.
Right? They're not doing it right. You want people watching your stuff as long as possible. That's going to increase your value to YouTube and to Google. But here's a secret. There's a thing called session time, which measures how long a person is on YouTube from the moment they click, okay? Even if they watch someone else, let's say they start on your video, their session time has begun. Get it? Let's say they watch 15 other videos from other different random producers. You still get a bunch of credit for that because you were the gateway that led them to the other videos that they enjoyed. So, There's value in all of it. And what I'm going to show you in the second half of the presentation is how to leverage big stars like Jeffrey Gitomer and siphon off some of their traffic, which I'm doing with 4 of my sales videos. In fact, I went to his tags and looked at what tags he was using. Because I have a video on closing, I have a video on prospecting, and I wanted to know what's working. Okay? So, 2 most important parts of being clicked, say it with me. Thumbnails and headlines. Absolutely. How do you get listed over here? Your tags. Your tags, and we'll come back to that. What's next? Oh, comments. Okay, so when you scroll down the viewing page, this is what you see. Comments. Description. Your description is like a blog post, and it is searchable by the search engines, and it is a very important factor in getting you ranked. It's not the most, but it's very important. It tells, what Google does is it looks at your video. Google can actually read your video, and it knows what you're saying for the most part, okay? So it can transcribe what you're doing. And it looks for a relationship between what you're saying in the video and what's written in the description box. You need at least 500 words in your description box for a properly optimized video. Now that's why we script at my company. We script our stuff out. And by scripting, I talk about bullet points, and I'm not a word-for-word guy. I can't be. I have too many words. You want to use your keywords 2% of the time. The most important part of the description box is the first 5 lines. So what we have here is we have 1 line, 2 lines, and then 3 lines, and then there's a space underneath. So that's real estate that can be leveraged, right? So the first 5 lines of almost every one of my videos is download my free course here with a link. Then a description of the video, and then a link to subscribe to my channel. It's a lot, huh? A lot of info. The first 5 lines matter. The first 5 lines will appear in the Google search engines, and they'll appear here. You have to click Show More to see the rest. So when you're prepping your videos, and I'm going to go over with you how to create a video content strategy, your first 5 lines, and then the rest of your description box. How many of you guys have Dragon? You guys use Dragon transcription at all? Dragon's a great way to get a description going, right? There's also a company called VoiceBase that'll do it for free. It's free. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Owen, question. You said that you have download my free course here, then you said something else, and then you said that you have a link to subscribe to the channel.
Yes. The middle part is a description of the video that uses the keywords in the video. And I'm going to get to keywords. We're going to go into keywords in depth here. How many of you guys have ever done keyword research before? Okay. That's a lot of you guys. It's going to be a lot. But it's so important. Because a keyword is what people are typing into Google. I was going to take my jacket off, but that's going to be a huge mission. So we'll do it at the break. Next part of the viewing page. The comment section. YouTube has always had a commenting section. And there's kind of a saying in our world that says, don't be too hard on yourself. That's what YouTube comments are for. YouTube has a large audience, and there are people that will rip you in half. Who cares? Right? And we're all working in more mature audiences. The more mature my videos get, the less of that I do get. But I still get, you're stupid, you're dumb. This is the dumbest video I've ever seen, And I'm, I'm in touch with my emotions. I'm like, who is this punk? And it's this 14-year-old gamer. You know what? He stumbled on my video looking for something else. And he's got more time than I do. But That's just a funny anecdote. The comments are one of two most important factors in getting your video ranked on Google and on YouTube. Okay? The comments are huge. You could have a description box with 100 words in it, but a ton of comments, Google's going to prioritize you. And I know this because I track this in a third-party software called Tube Tracker that I'm going to give you guys all a link to later on. You want to be creating videos that start conversations. Okay? Whether you're asking a question or just being controversial. And I'll tell you what, being controversial is awesome. You know? Start your video off with something, a hook. Right? The next few minutes, I'm going to show you why most of what you're doing is wrong. Stay tuned. Right? And you get people engaging with you. It's like the thumbs up versus the thumbs down. YouTube doesn't care. As long as people are engaging, they see your video as relevant and important, and they're going to rank it. Okay? Where do those comments go? Again, revolutionary move on YouTube. Made a lot of people angry for about 3 seconds, and then their channels took off. YouTube has always had a commenting system built in. Kind of like WordPress. How you guys have WordPress sites? Right? Like WordPress has like their built-in commenting system, but you can also get Discuss comments. You can get Livewire and these third-party commenting systems. Google launched a social media network called Google+, and everybody made fun of it until it started showing up in the search engines. That's a big deal. It means what you post on Google+ is indexed by Google and can appear in search engine results. Facebook doesn't have that. Does that make sense? Okay? That means comments are indexed. So whenever you post a comment underneath a YouTube video, it goes onto Google+, which helps to create relevancy for your video and helps your video to be ranked. So it's not a bad idea to create a network of people that are making videos with you. Join a Facebook group, join a mastermind group, a private class, and comment on each other's videos. While you're at it, hey, why not use my keywords while you're commenting in my video? Make sense? Okay, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later. The fact that the comments, though, are linked to Google+ is absolutely huge. You just don't have that type of integration on any other social network. So these two factors are hugely important and should be considered when you're in the pre-production phase of your videos. Right? Where's my description coming from? Because if you're just going to wing it, that's okay. If you're just going to put the camera up and shoot, that's fine. I'm all about that. But now you need a description. How are you going to get that description? Are you going to write it or are you going to transcribe it? Right? Where's your description coming from? What are the keywords you're going to use? What's my thumbnail going to look like? And how am I going to get comments and how am I going to get thumbs ups? Right? Those are the things that you want to be thinking about in your pre-production phase. So let's talk about profit centers. There's a lot of ways to make money on YouTube. And most of them are untraditional. Okay? So we're going to go through those a little bit, and I didn't create a lot of text for these slides because it's just a little overwhelming. So I wanted to just be careful, just kind of put these ideas in your heads, okay? So the first is the in-stream ads. Have you guys ever watched a video on YouTube and then there's an advertisement in front of it? And it says skip ad, right? How many of you ever skipped an ad? Right? YouTube ads are highly profitable if you do them right because they cost almost nothing. In a lot of cases, we can get them for free. Because here's the thing. I don't want to be advertising on a channel that's irrelevant to my product. Right? So you know what I see on these things? I see like HostGator advertising. Right? I've been with HostGator for 10 years. I'm not going to watch their ad. I'm already with them. Then I saw another commercial that was like 10 minutes long. When I click on a video, I want to watch that video. I don't want to watch this advertiser. So we use a technique that launches like a 30-second ad, 15 seconds. So just imagine this for a quick second. Let's just go with my channel. You're doing a video on SEO, right? Or you're about to watch a video on SEO and web design. But then an ad pops up. Hey, if you're interested in SEO and web design, download my free ebook now by clicking on this link. There within 5 seconds, I've created the value prop and the action call. They're not interested, they click off, I don't pay for the ad. Right? They do, I get the opt-in, it costs me 25 cents because they only watched 7 seconds of it. So there are strategies to leverage YouTube ad to grow your channel, get more people watching your videos, also download your ebooks, buy your products. Lots of great ways to make money there. There's also the CPM, the cost per mil, right? So this is how YouTubers and vloggers make money. They get money each time an ad is played, and on average that's about, I think it's like 7 cents. So it's like, the numbers are something like, you know what, it's so funny, I had it all memorized when I came up here today. It's like 1 million views equals something like $7,000 is close to the type of money that they're making. So if you Google, top money earners on YouTube, what you're going to see is top channels that allow ads, because you don't have to allow ads. I do not allow ads on my channel. I do not want my competitors advertising in front of my videos, right? What those numbers are doing is looking at their total view count and then taking the average cost, the average revenue per ad that's played. So if you guys want to have channels where you're vlogging and talking about up-to-date topics, allow ads. You can make money that way, but it's going to take a lot of views. And I think there's better ways to make money. Okay? Sponsorships. Get someone to sponsor your channel. Typically somebody that has an interest in working with your audience. Because when you start producing content regularly, you'll notice your audience is growing, right? I'm gaining about 130 new subscribers a month. My goal is to double that in 2015. So as I'm gaining an audience, right, when I have an audience, I can now attract ad revenue. And that can finance my channel. That's what I'm focused on. That, I think, is a good route for you guys to go. Build up your audience and your view count so you can now attract sponsors. And it doesn't have to be Toyota. It does not have to be Toyota. It could be a local business. It could be the local bakery. Hey, want to sponsor my channel? I talk about health and wellness. I talk about hiking, and they've got great, trail mix or trail mix bars. Maybe they're just giving you free bars or something like that. And then what happens is you're doing your video, and you're about 1.5 minutes in, and you say, but I want to just let you know that this video is brought to you by the local bakery. Check them out. Little lower third, they're done. So sponsorships is a great way to make money. Of course, the producer role, that's what I do. I produce channels and grow channels. You could find a niche in mastering a channel and then wanting to help other people master their channels. You can make money that way. Product sales. This is big. Now, not just your product sales, but also affiliate product sales, having an Amazon account, an affiliate account with Amazon, an eBay account. So I leverage this a little bit, but I have a good friend that's doing really well with this. I leverage this a little bit, where every Friday I was doing a segment called Things I Found on the Internet. And on that show, I would talk about a book or a tool or an app, but only books, tools, and apps that I could affiliate out and make a commission on. I do a review. It has to be an honest review, right? So I don't only review products that I like. Pushbullet was a good example. It's like, I like the app, but it kind of sucks, right? But every time it's downloaded, I get points or credits. I did a review on a Bruce Clay book. I get commission on the book when it sells, but that wasn't even the best part. The best part was Bruce Clay Inc. reached out to me and said, great job, we're watching you, right? Bruce Clay, by the way, is just like one of those guys. Like for me, it'd be like Brad Pitt walking in, or you know, it's like, that's the Brad Pitt of SEO, you know what I mean? Bruce Clay, this guy's just the godfather. So leveraging product sales. Not just your own products, your own ebooks and your own training courses, but other people's products where you can be paid commissions. That's another way to make money on YouTube. And of course, branding, which I think is probably what we're all most interested in, right? Branding your company, your voice, your message as a leader in your field, and encouraging people to contact you for speaking or consulting. How many of you guys consult? Yeah, it's like part of the speaking thing, right? So when it comes to making money on YouTube, these are the monetization centers. Now, how you produce content, which is going to be the next section, we're taking a break, and then we're going to go into the next section. How you produce content is going to be dependent on your monetization plan. So what happens is a lot of times is channels will get popular and then need to monetize. That's fine. It's a little bit tougher to do. But if you go into YouTube with a monetization plan up front, you're in a really great position, because when your channel starts exponentially growing, you'll find that the profit starts exponentially growing, because you don't just have one or two great videos. You got a bunch of videos. So chew on that for a few minutes. We'll break for a break. Is that okay? And if you guys have any questions, I'll stay up here and we'll ask some questions. Sound good? I think I'm on now. All right, thank you. Great trick with the headphones. I've looped up my little selfie device here. So everyone give me some. There we go, we got it. Take one over here now too. Look at this, we're tech savvy, we're rolling now. Keep smiling.
Did you do a video of that side? You were there longer.
No, you know what? I think my timer is on. There we go. I got some good pictures. Yeah, those will be all over the web. It'll be viral by the end of the day.
Can we give you our links to the
Yeah, exactly. Subscribe to these channels while you're at it.
Embedded in the video.
I like that. You know, it's co-marketing is what we'll do. And we're going to actually talk a little bit about what I call collaborations. I got a lot of great questions at the break, and the answer to a lot of those was collaborating. Collaborating for me has been like the primary growth strategy for my channel, where I'm leveraging the channels of other people and other audiences. So what an honor, too, to hear from these past presidents. And, I knew that I was coming to speak to a group of speakers today, which I'm comfortable with, and it's just so great to be, in the presence of so many experienced and talented speakers. So I'm like even more excited to be here. You know what I mean? So let's continue on with our conversation. We're going to jump back into it. I want to take a look at a couple channels that are doing it right. This is somebody named Jeannie Robertson, who's got some funny things to say, and I don't know if you've ever heard of her. So because I want to keep it relevant, and I think it's easy to work with talent that we already are familiar with, and to emulate what they're already doing. Let me clarify something, though. People with platforms will walk into success. Does that, national celebrities, people that already know what's going on, that already have audiences, they're going to walk into immediate success here. Jimmy Kimmel doesn't have to fight to get subscribers, right? He's Jimmy Kimmel. He's on television, and that's a little bit of what we have here. So, what Jeannie's doing is she's leveraging the audience that already knows about her, but then she's gone back and done things properly to continue to grow her audience. For example, this is one of her videos. She talks about trick-or-treating in a costume, but who are the related videos that pop up here? It's all her. So she knows how to keep people on her page. And look at those thumbnails, right? Like, again, there's some things I would recommend here. I can't read the text enough, but I can see that there's some enhanced visuals there, like a title. Look at how many thumbs up she has over here. 992. And that helps to increase that view count to 120,000. Because every time somebody likes a video, it gets tweeted out by default, unless somebody has disconnected that feature, they don't have a Twitter. So this is an example of what it looks like to have a video done right. Look at her comments. Look at these comments. And I don't care what they say. These happen to be all positive. But it doesn't matter what they say. It's engagement. And you got people talking about, I own your DVDs, I've seen you 3 times, that sort of thing. But I want you to imagine in your minds a day when you log into YouTube rather casually, you realize you've got 10 or 15 updates you haven't checked on, and then one of them says, we'd like to get you to come out here and speak. Then isn't that what this is all about? That's what this is all about. And it might take 5, 10 videos to get there. But you'll get there. People are looking, they are searching for you. And they're not finding you. So you know what they're doing? Printing out blogs, stapling them together, and handing them out to their team members. Because they just don't know that you're out there. So this section is going to be about getting found. Okay? Couple things I'm not going to talk too much about is production. And the reason I'm not going to talk too much about production is because my most popular video was done at 2 a.m. in the morning in an $8 t-shirt. Right? Production is less important than doing the work, right? We talk about completion before perfection. Okay? Just get started. All right? Work with a one take. Right? Work with doing everything in one take right now. If you've got some experience editing, I talked to a couple people that have experience editing, keep doing what you're doing, right? But if you're in your mind, how do I make a good video? There's no such thing. Your most perfect video somebody else hates. So just make the video, okay? And make it with those points that we talked about, right? What's your headline? What's your description? How are you going to get comments? How are you going to get thumbs up? So let's talk about what's called a programming strategy. We might also call this a content strategy. On YouTube, we refer to it as programming. And I want you to kind of put yourself in the seat of a TV producer. Somebody in charge of filling out a channel's airtime. How are you going to fill up your airtime? Okay? Now, again, I'm not a big fan of reinventing anything. And so I'm not reinventing this. I'm simply teaching you what we've learned and what we're moving forward with. Okay, so let's dig into it. I want to talk about push, pull, and pow content. YouTube refers to this as hub, hero, and hygiene content. But I like to call it push, pull, and pow. Okay? These are the 3 different types of content that you want to be leveraging on your channel. Your pull content is your evergreen content. It means your audience can find this content at any time of day, any day of the week, any week of the year, and so on and so forth, and it's relevant to them. Defining terms is a great starting point. What is this? What is that? There are more than 2 terms in your industry that are specific to your industry. Think jargon. And I'm going to show you a strategy for getting all that on paper and then defining those terms. Your push content is where your channel functions as a talk show or a sitcom. This is where your personality is coming through. And you're doing updates. Maybe. That's just an example, right? But you're talking about what you want to talk about. See, the pull content is designed to attract new viewers from Google searches or Bing or Yahoo. You guys should know that Google is like 72% of the search market. Yahoo, and that includes YouTube. Yahoo is a close second with, or not, 10 10, 15%. This is like little tiny guys. So focus on Google, okay? Your pull content is to attract content from searchers. Your push content is now that they're subscribed to you or they're aware of you, now you're talking about what you want to talk about. In NLP, we call this future pacing, right? You're getting them on your page now. And now you're becoming an authority in the field, beyond just defining terms. Your POW content, this is your viral content. That's how I think of it. Now, YouTube in their creator playbook and in their tips, they're going to tell you these are where your sales videos come in. Remember we talked about sales videos, not a huge strategy, but it's there. Kind of, okay? I wouldn't recommend going with like an infomercial style event. We hit 20,000 advertisements a day. Your POW content is where your budget goes. And this is produced less often. I would suggest quarterly or around tentpole events. Are you familiar with this term, tentpole events? Events, okay, a tentpole event is an event, for example, if you were in e-commerce, Black Friday is your tentpole event. It's an event where everyone in your industry is aware of your industry, right? There's a music group called the Redhead Express. They're a country music group. Well, they hosted a tentpole music video event for their YouTube channel on what's called Pioneer Day in Utah, right? It's part of Mormon culture. So you want to find these events in your industry, whether they're national events, holidays, or sales occasions, to create videos up to and promoting. Super Bowl might be one. The start of school starting, school ending, tentpole events. Okay? That's where your POW content comes in. That's where you're going to want to consider maybe working with a scripter, a writer, a videographer, someone that can help you really create some high-end content. Okay? So here's a sample strategy. This is directly from YouTube on what your channel might be structured like. So we can see here at the bottom, I know it's hard to read, this is your hygiene content, or what they call your pull content. You're doing product questions, demos, and troubleshooting, and then maybe throwing some ad campaigns in there that are based on keywords. The best way to think of this lower level is evergreen content. You need some help with that? It's based on keyword research. Based on keyword research, which I'm going to show you how to do. Then you've got your hub content or your push content. That's based around your personality and your brand specific platforms. So you've got maybe, this one they use music interviews or behind the scenes. I do behind the scenes at every event I go to. I find who's speaking and I interview them. People love it. Absolutely leverage the talent and the networks of other people because they will probably share it. Everyone likes to be interviewed. And then you've got your hero content where, you've got your event activation, contest activation, and big event thing. We're hosting a live event. We're hosting a we're hosting a contest. So your hygiene content is maybe something that you're going to do 12, 25 videos now, and you're going to let them kind of saturate. That silo video that I showed you, that's hygiene content. Based on keywords, it's evergreen. Right? There's not time specific. It's not a news update where it's got a week, a month maybe on it before it dies out. And it's going to lead people to my bigger products and promotions. So that is how you should be thinking about your content strategy for your channel. Mastering that will take time, and you should start with hygiene. Start with your keyword research. Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to find out that there's something you really want to talk about. Right? We were talking about why do people print emails anyway, right? That would be hub content because people aren't really talking about that. They're really searching for that. But then you get to show them your personal side, your personality, and where your heart comes out. So that's how you want to be leveraging your content. Stuff they're looking for every day, and then bring them over to what you want to talk about. See, and then furthermore, it's like, hey, now we're doing this event. Now they've been watching you for 90 days. We're doing this big event. I'm doing a big webinar. whatever the case might be. So let's talk about a sample format for producing these hygiene videos, okay? 6 steps to creating a successful video. You've got 15 seconds, I think less, to hook your audience. YouTube used to count a view as anything over 8 seconds. So why would they say, well, but you got to hook them in 15. But if they're leaving in 8, you got to hook them in 5. Now, how do you hook them? I mean, that's up to you guys. What I like to do is shock people out of their kind of complacency a little bit. Opening with a joke or a funny voice, a one-liner, or something as simple as, today we're going to be talking about XYZ, stay tuned. And then bam, your animated logo bumper pops in. Think of a TV show. TV shows from the 80s have, sometimes today, you have what's called the cold open. That opens with a 2-minute section and the characters interact for a second. Big laughs, and then it's the theme song. Da-na-na-na-da-da-da-da-da-da, right? Goes on for 2 minutes. That's exactly how we want to structure our videos on YouTube. Grab them in the beginning, then brand your channel. Easiest way to do that is to take your logo or create one on Fiverr and then have an animator animate that so that it spins. You can do it for, $25 on Fiverr.
What is that?
Fiverr. Fiverr.com is an outsource website where you can get work starting at $5.
Kind of like Elance?
Not like, in the same family as Elance, but everything costs $5 initially. And then it's like you get upgrades. It's 5 with 2 R's.
2 R's?
Yeah. Fiverr.com.
Oh, okay. I see.
Okay, you're not going to get knockout amazing stuff here. You're going to get a very quick turnaround product. And it is fine for this. It is fine for this, okay? So you've got your hook, you've got your branding. Branding is very, very important. And then you've got your introduction. Tell them what you're going to talk about, much like we do when we're speaking. Today I'm going to talk about this, then you talk about this, and then you recap what you talked about. Give them an introduction, because they may not want to watch your video. And you don't need them watching a video that makes them mad and they leave a bad comment. Does that make sense? Tell them what you're going to talk about. Be transparent. And this all happens in the first 20 seconds. Your body content should be limited to 3 to 5 bullet points. If it's 6 bullet points, it's part 1 and part 2. It's 2 videos. I would say to keep your content around 5 to 7 minutes. We have a tendency to ramble. So cut that out as much as you can. If it's too long, people won't watch it. They won't even click on it. Because you know what people look at before they click on a video? The TRT, total runtime. Yeah, exactly, the time code. So you want to keep that in single digits, but over a minute. Under a minute says I'm not going to learn anything. Very valuable comment I got from one of my listeners, one of my viewers was, I like the length of your videos. 3 minutes is not enough, but 8 is too many. Now that was just one guy, but it reinforced a strategy that I already knew to be true. Okay? So body content, keep it short. If you find that it's too long, do part 1 and part 2. Now you got them for 2 videos, man. It's okay. That's okay. At the very end, call to action. Now I don't recommend having an offer in every video. Right? If you're going to be producing once a week, which is a minimum, right? Once a month, I don't even see the purpose in that, to be honest with you. If we're all doing this, we're talking about a minimum of once a week. And, we're talking about shooting this 1 day a month, and you're doing all 4 right then. Okay, and I'll show you what that looks like. Your call to action is, here's what I want you to do now. Go to my website, download my ebook. It's an off-site type of offer. And then your end card. Your end card should be done in post-production, should be a Photoshop product. It's an image. It's an image that you pull into your video that closes the video. and it has a subscribe button. I should have put an image up there. A subscribe button and maybe titles to your other videos. What I do is I put screenshots of my other videos. So here's what my end card might look like, right? So I've just done my call to action. You can go to my website and download my free ebook now. You're going to love it. You're going to get a lot of great information. Thanks for joining me on my video today. If you liked what you saw here today, I want to encourage you to subscribe by clicking on the button right over there. If you liked this video, you might like some of my other videos, and I put links to those right down there. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Fade out. End card stays up for 10 more seconds. Does that make sense? I should have put an image up there. And I'll include it in the fixed version of the slide, and I'll put it up on SlideShare. But a lot of that's done in post, and here's why. Because YouTube doesn't have very fancy editing tools. You could trim the beginning, trim the end, but it's wonky. It changes all the time. It's really experimental. YouTube launched it for our convenience. But it's not something that you want to rely on or even, I would even say, experiment with, right? So do this stuff in post. If you have, how many of you have Macs, Apple products? You've got iMovie, you're good. On a PC, you've got Windows Movie Maker, which will suffice, or you get Vegas for $100, right? My presentation certainly is not how to master YouTube for free. There's an investment here. You've got to buy editing software. And here's this, Adobe Creative Cloud. You can buy the entire Photoshop suite for $50 a month. You can get just the video editing program for $20 a month. Great value there. But follow this 6-step format. Condition your audience. Show them structure, right? Discipline them and help them to understand your content. Because when it comes to unstructured content versus structured content, you'll win every time, and they won't even know why. They're just going to know that they like your stuff better. Does that make sense? That's media literacy. Okay, now we're going to get into some heavy stuff here. Let's talk about keyword research. How many of you guys have done keyword research for your own websites for SEO purposes? Okay. So there's a little bit of familiarity here. What I'm going to do is shatter a lot of those beliefs that you have and show you how we do it on the professional side. Okay? I'm hired by companies and brands to do just keyword research because we're so effective at it. We are able to eliminate the bad stuff. The bad stuff is stuff people don't click on for purchasing reasons. Right? So we call them commerce keywords, commercial keywords. You find a keyword that's, it's getting 3,500 views a month or searches a month, but nobody's buying anything. It's not a keyword you need to be ranking for. Okay? So let's talk about some of the keyword research strategies. Now, this is a great exercise for you to follow, and I actually recommend getting out a fresh piece of paper and maybe copying this slide down so you can make your own notes. So you've got an idea of what your keywords are. We're going to divide them up into a couple different topics. First is your high competition keywords. These are going to be very broad. These are your broad keywords. For me, we're going to use me as an example. It would be video production. Video production companies. Videographer. Videographer San Diego. Right? The broad term. So here's some examples. You're going to want to write down as many of those as you can. Those will become families of keywords eventually. So think about an Excel file, right? You've got the top cell, high competition keywords, and think of as many as you can and just trail down. By the end of this, you should have 500, 1,000. And it will take you an hour. It won't take you very long at all because you know your industry. Then you're going to go for your medium competition keywords. These are keywords that are related to the products that you offer. Not necessarily what your company calls them, but what somebody who is searching the industry might be looking for. So in my industry, they might be looking for YouTube video marketing or online video marketing. If you're a speaker on health and wellness, they might be looking for something like lose weight or food diets, something to that effect, right? Product specific. Now we're looking for your low competition keywords. These are keywords that are going to be long tail in nature. A long tail keyword is a keyword phrase with 3 or more words in it. Typically, it's structured as a question. What is the best way to close a sale? Right? How do I make a video for YouTube? Would be a low competition keyword. Generate leads, close more sales. Experiment with the word how to and what does. Where is. And see what your brain answers in that regard. Now I'm going to stop here real quick. Do we understand what I mean when I say low competition, high competition? Okay, I'm glad that we recognize that. Okay, so a competitive keyword is a keyword that someone is optimizing for and trying to rank for. Google AdWords will, there's a tool called the Google Keyword Planner. It's free, and anybody can access it. When you type in a keyword, Google will tell you if it's low competition, medium competition, or high competition. What that refers to is the amount of businesses that are paying AdWords to show up for that search. Okay? 60%, 70% competition. That's high competition, right? And unless you have a big budget, you're never going to win that battle, right? You're just not going to win because Frito-Lay is going to put more money in it and you're going to lose, right? And now you're broke. So we want to find high competition keywords because we know people are looking for them, and then we want to add modifiers to them like how to and where is and your product and your service to make them long tail and get that extra traffic. Okay? So that's a general understanding of what the competition refers to. It's a pay-per-click term. Okay, now we're going to move away from technical keyword research and we're going into niche-specific and your company-specific keyword research. Okay? Niches are your verticals, your target buyers, your target listeners, right? So you're in college speaking. You're looking to be found in areas where the school admins are spending time, but you also want to be where the students are spending time. Because the admins are going to go also where the students are spending time. So look in your niches. Are you targeting businessmen, executives, CEOs? You've got to have a real clear understanding of who is buying from you, right? Because viral is not our goal. It's creating targeted content for our audience. Are you a marriage coach? If so, you're probably looking for couples, divorcees, premarital, engagements. How to buy a great engagement ring. Step number 1, hire a marriage coach. Step number 2, hire Gittimer.
No, Gittimer is the audience.
Oh, is he? He's mad now. He's mad. Hold him back. I see him. For me, lawyers and financial professionals is a great niche for me, right? And here's another part of that. They can afford my service. You also want to be thinking about that too, your target audience. Shoot for the bullseye, you might hit the 15. You understand what I'm saying? Right?
What are you typing in?
Right now, you're just making a list, right? Because what we're going to do is you're going to start playing a game with this, and you're going to start going video production company that generates leads, and see how many searches that gets. Then you're going to go video production company for lawyers, and see how many leads that gets. And then you're going to set a standard for yourself at the minimum volume of keyword research that you're going to go out for, and you're going to start with like 60. But to get a good 60, you've got to start somewhere. Now, once you get good at this, you can bypass this process and just go straight to AdWords, because you'll know how to do it. But you have to kind of know how it works first. How AdWords is thinking. Think like AdWords. And it'll start to develop itself naturally. Industry-specific terms. A big mistake entrepreneurs and business owners make is creating content in jargon. Right? Most of your audience, my audience, has no idea what an annotation is. It's a clickable link inside of a video. So I go, to type in a phrase like, what is a YouTube annotation? And I see tons of stuff already coming up, guys with much more money than I do. I'm not going to go for that phrase. Does that make sense? But I wouldn't know that unless I did my research first. Okay? And again, it seems exhaustive, but it's really not a very time-consuming process. This stuff will pour out of you when you sit down to do it. So look at your technical terms, industry-specific terms, green screen, DSLR videos, things like that. This is where other professionals will be looking for you that know the terms. And you're going to obviously speak to another professional differently than you would a target buyer, depending on if your target buyer is a professional or not. And then modifiers. Your modifiers are descriptive, best, top, low cost, available, cheap. We all hate that word. Nobody likes to rank for the word cheap, but guess what? Every one of my clients that ranks for it gets business. Because let's face it, people are looking for a cheap spay and neuter. Here's the secret. They all cost the same, plus or minus $10. So why not be, yeah, but the client looks at us as cheap. So you're concerned about your image? Then I'll tell you what, client, because this is my client, I love him dearly, is at the end of the month then, let's take a look at your image and you can pay me off of that instead of your sales. My job is to generate sales. Also, San Diego, Charlotte, North Carolina, Tri-City area. Affordable speakers, San Diego. Why not have a page on your website? That's, that ranks you for that term. You could be an affordable speaker. Best health coach, Charlotte. And then again, another page for that. Mark Robertson, who's the CEO over at a website called Real SEO. It's a video marketing news and update site. Definitely an industry leader for us. I was doing some research on my own speaker page, right? What are these terms that I can rank for? And I found Mark Robertson, who's an SEO guy like me, is ranking for all of them. Identical page, different keyword terms. That, my friends, is brilliance. Right? Because we're not reinventing the wheel. We're not writing a new page for all of this stuff. We're replacing keywords, swapping out some images, and driving a ton of traffic. Okay? That's your preliminary keyword research. So imagine you've got a sheet of paper just filled up with terms. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take that to the suggested Google search. Excuse me. Now, you guys have seen this drop down in Google, right? You start typing in a word and it autofills it for you. Okay? What that's telling you is, hey, these are some terms that other people have clicked on, not just searched, but clicked on based on the letters and the numbers that you've put in thus far. So that is a great way to get started because these terms already have search volume. So you start typing in video production companies, look at San Diego, New York City, Seattle, Chicago, and California. There is no reason that I couldn't rank for every single one of those terms. I know they got search volume, they're relevant to my business. Okay? That's what you guys need to start doing with that list of keyword research that you're starting to put in. Okay? Is look for what's already being searched. If it's not already being searched, cross it off. And this will happen really quickly. Right? It'll take a little bit more time than writing down all the words. But what you're going to do is do 25 a day for a week, and you're done. And you're going to have a fresh list of keywords that have search volume, that have commercial value, that you can now start creating videos for. And you know that you're at least in the running now to be ranked. Okay? And that's why it's important to know that YouTube is a Google property. Because they're going to prioritize videos that are made to be found in search. So why are we doing all this keyword research? Well, we want to know what topics people are looking for. But guess what? That will become the title of your video. It's also going to be the first sentence in your description box. It's also going to become your tag. And then you're going to create a blog with an identical title. You're going to embed the video. See where I'm going? And then you're going to go to Google+, and you're going to post on Google+. You're going to use the keywords in that post. And you're going to create a video marketing system for your company. 4 videos a month. If you do that consistently for 3 months, you will see a huge increase in your website traffic and in your audience growth. So first is, let's just say this. I got some steps here. Step 1, gather a list of 200 keywords. Step 2, enter those words into suggested search and see if they pop up. If not, trash the word. If so, put it on your final list.
So if it's not being searched, nothing will show up when you start typing?
Yep.
Is that, okay.
Yeah. Now, does that mean it's not getting any searches? No, it means it's not getting any clicks. And only so many are going to pop up here. So here's the thing. Let's say that all of these, which they probably are getting over 1,000 searches a month. There's still searches that are getting 800 a month that just aren't popping up. And that's why you go into AdWords and you do the keyword planner and you do all that more advanced stuff. For right now, right, low-hanging fruit, I don't really care for that term, but that's what we're doing. We're getting the low-hanging fruit first. We're getting you acclimated to the system. Now, there are lots of other tools out there. Okay, lots of other tools. This tool, for example, all I have to do is type in one keyword phrase, and it spit out 264 results using the same process that I just showed you how to use. It just finds all the modifiers, and it finds all the different descriptive words that can be added to or subtracted from the word. The problem is it doesn't tell me if there's any search volume. So, what you end up doing is you do like 5 different tools, to arrive at the same amount of keywords that I just showed you in 2 steps. They're 2 kind of bigger steps, but you're saving yourself the year of research that I had to do on these, to figure all that out. It's like, oh my God, I'm arriving to the same conclusion. Okay, keyword research. It's in your head. Maybe not, perfectly understood yet, but it's in your head because we're going to move on to another topic, okay? We're going to move into competition research. Now, competition research can be done on Google as well, where you type in the keywords you're trying to rank for, and you see what pops up. The industry leaders will pop up over and over again. Now, at the top of Google, I'm improvising here a little bit. At the top of Google, there's these different tabs. It says web, images. You understand? You've seen this before? If the word videos is already there, you are going to rank much faster. Because those change with every search. I bet you didn't know that. Those will change with every search. And what it's listing them in order of what people are clicking on. So web is usually first, right? Unless you put in the word tutorial. And do a search on something like tutorial. You'll find that a video will pop up really big first. But if you're searching for just a general term, web is usually the first. Most likely, the second is the word images. I know for me, that's the second thing I click on almost every time, right? And then the third will be like map listings. The fourth might be videos. If the word videos is not there, that's okay. It doesn't mean you can't rank. It just means that not as many people are clicking on videos related to that search term. It also means that there's a marketplace there, right? There's stuff for you to be producing, okay? All right. That's Google competition research. Let's go into YouTube competition research. I want you to, how many of you guys are using Chrome? Okay. This is a Chrome. I'm going to show you a Chrome plugin. If you're not using Chrome, I recommend it for your SEO work and your keyword research work. There's a lot of great tools in there. You don't have to use it full time, although I'm a dedicated Chrome user. You're going to want to get a plugin called vidIQ. It's free. And when you get vidIQ and you activate it, you're going to get this little box right here in YouTube. YouTube hates it because it eliminates the ad. Right? But I don't know a single professional YouTuber that doesn't have this app. Okay? So what vidIQ does is it gives you all these analytics that on that video, on a stranger's video that otherwise you wouldn't have access to. So I'm able to see how many minutes of this video is watched, right? It's $1.30 in time. I don't see how many views it has. But when I can see the average of minutes watched of that video, I know when people are turning it off. Now, why would it be good to know when people are clicking off your video or someone else's video? Yeah, absolutely. And you're also knowing where your audience is conditioned. If they're conditioned for 3 to 4 minutes, make some 3 to 4 minute content, and see what happens to it. How many subscribers driven? So this video has only gained VidPow 1 subscriber. Now, I don't think that these are made to drive subscribers. These are just kind of like add value, facts for their audience. But you get, anyway, point is, with vidIQ, you get a ton of statistics on your competitor videos, including all of their tags. Now, what do tags do? Tags get you to show up in the related video section, which is the number 2 source of traffic for your videos. For some people, it's the number 1 source of traffic. For me, I focus on search first, related second, okay? All his tags are down here. So now I can use those tags in my video. I can also use those words in my description so that my videos pop up when his videos are being played. Find your competition and get yourself in front of their audiences by copying their tags, right?
Okay, I want to ask a really quick, stupid question.
Sure.
You say you can find it in the videos. In the content that you write, you can put the tags.
Yeah, think of a tag like a keyword. Okay, but it functions a little bit differently because it's a tag, right? So you can use the word in the description box to create some relevancy for sure. YouTube and Google are going to read all of it, and they come up with a number, and that's where they place you in the website or in the search engines. But when you put the tags in the tags section, it looks at the tags in someone else's section, and it says, okay, these are related, right? So I was watching a video the other day about a credit card. It was an advertisement, okay? But advertisements on YouTube have to be authentic videos too. You have to upload the video first and then advertise it. Make sense? Okay. So when it was a credit card video, but I looked at his tags were like weight loss, beach body, beer, Coors Light, right? And I'm kind of like, I'm spitballing this here, but it's a great example in theory. What audience do you think he's going for? Younger audience, college audience, right? So he's using tags so that when college students are looking for those types of videos, his video will pop up there too for a great credit card. Very, very interesting because credit card companies are not allowed on college campuses anymore.
But the tag is not necessarily in the audio content of the video.
No, it doesn't have to be.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be. But again, it's relevancy. The more authentic you are with your video and just upfront, this is what my video is about, this is what we feature, this is who we want to get to. Google and YouTube will reward that. When you try to beat the system, there is a team of people in India, Singapore, and America trying to find you and beat you, and you will lose. So there's no need to game the system. Just go along with, they give you so much, just go along with it. Do it authentically. You'll find that gaming the system, what'll happen is, you guys heard these words like panda and penguin? These website updates, right? They killed so many of my friends. I mean, doing affiliate marketing. They're doing all this, what we call black hat stuff. And then guess what? Those monkeys that Google hired, all those kids with master's degrees, beat them. And they lost income. I had one buddy moved out of the United States. He's like, I can't take this anymore. Moved to Costa Rica with the money he had. He's still doing web design, but he's doing it authentically now. You know? So don't game the system is my point.
Is there a limit to tags?
Great question. When you first start your channel, it's limited to 10. And then you get, and by the way, when you first start a channel or as you first start getting active, you will see some limitations. Nothing I have covered today is not available to you. But you won't be able to upload past 15 minutes of content. You'll only be able to upload like 10 tags. And you won't have the ability to do custom thumbnails or live events. You do a couple videos, you optimize it, you're going to get a big flag that says, "Hey, congratulations, you're now a regular YouTuber." And then from there, you can apply to be a YouTube partner. Everyone gets approved. But they make it sound important, so you do it. But once you're a YouTube partner, now you can upload thumbnails and you can do live events and do all that stuff. They just want to make sure you're a real person, so you have to confirm with your cell phone number and that sort of thing.
And does Google care what order we put those in?
No. Great question again. No, it doesn't matter with the tags. So you should be going into your video knowing what you're going to tag, and then putting in whatever else comes to mind. And you don't need to put if you're trying to tag for basketball players, you don't need to also put basketball player. Right? Tags get it. Keywords maybe. The S can make a big difference. But your tags, it's categorical. Okay? So those are, you want to find, using the keywords you just did your research on, you want to now search those keywords on YouTube or on Google, then click videos and find out what's ranking, because they're the same. Find your competition and steal their tags. I think I was going to say, when I was doing film production, we had a saying called "case the place," right? Copy and steal everything. Absolutely. They call it artistic license and all these different things. But you don't need to reinvent the wheel here. Okay, thumbnail strategy. These are examples of great thumbnails. They were all produced in Photoshop. Canva. Who was talking about Canva? Canva is another great resource to create images. Canva. It's free. And they have pre-made stuff you can buy, and it's a great business. All the social media sites talk about how wonderful this business is. I don't use it myself because I'm a Photoshopper. I know how to use Photoshop. Your thumbnail coupled with your title is the most important factor in being clicked. Okay? So your keyword research, your description, your title, all of that stuff is about being found. Once they find you with 9 other people, now you want to be clicked. The amount of times you're found versus the amount of times you're clicked is your click-through rate. The higher your CTR, the higher you'll be in the search engine. Once you're at the top of the search engine, it is very hard to be knocked down. It's like beating Mike Tyson in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. You guys remember that game? Man, I could never beat Mike Tyson. 2 hits and I was done. So I played with the video camera instead. It worked out for me. Of course, there are gamers making big bucks too. Gaming is they have an Olympics and everything. You guys know this? There's an Olympics in video games in Korea. They make tons of money. Okay, so let's take a look at, first of all, I want you guys to check out the Invisible Vet campaign just as a matter of goodwill. It's a great campaign. It's bringing attention to PTSD in war veterans. Awesome video. 1 minute, $1,200, 230,000 views in its first 2 months. My friend Jeremy's behind that campaign. But look at what all these things kind of have in common here, right? Engaging image. What does that look like right there? I'm not really sure, but I want to click it and find out, right? And then we've got the branding right here, Carrick Brain Centers. Now, Tim Schmoyer, YouTube marketing guy, same kind of thing. He's taken an image of a person, chopped out the background and put kind of this weird little, like, why is Dora behind him kind of thing, we would call this engaging. If the question makes you go, if the thumbnail makes you go, huh? It's a good thumbnail. But it needs to be relevant. You cannot put a picture of a busty girl.
Yeah, why not?
Right? Well, it depends on your keywords. By the way, let's talk more. Let's get a beer later. You want it to be relevant. You want it to be relevant because, again, YouTube and Google, they have eyes. They know what your thumbnail is about, and they know that if you don't have relevancy from your image to your video, then they will penalize you, and they will never tell you. You just won't get that video ranked. But here Tim puts growing an animation channel. He puts his branding down below, and he puts his title up above. Right? So this one has no title, that one has a title. It's a different approach. They're both great thumbnails. But what's the advantage? Okay, so when you're in search, you've got your thumbnail and your title that show up. What's the advantage then of this text right here, of having some text right here? More information. It can supplement your title. So I never put my titles here. What I put is more like a value prop. Like what they're going to learn, what they're going to get out of it. So my video title might be generating leads with YouTube. But then on my thumbnail, I might put something like make more money. Because the studies have shown that the eyes go to the thumbnail first and then to the title second. Make more money with video on YouTube. That's the video I'm looking for. I'm going to click and I'm going to watch it. And what we have found is that viewers are very likely to watch a bunch of videos on the same topic. So, 5 other guys, 3 other guys, 15 other guys, maybe find another keyword, okay? 3 to 5 other guys have videos, outrank them. I'm willing to bet they don't know what you now know because of this presentation.
Thank you, Owen.
You know what I'm saying? There's only like 5 guys teaching this right now, right?